and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this video where I'll once again talk about the beloved experience and the sacredness of it, especially. So I've did so many beautiful topics on this unraveling path and journey of the beloved, and today feels like a very magical day because for me personally, we're having a little costume party at home, and you can see I'm wearing my royal queen outfit, which is really beautiful. Sometimes we have to do those things to really just move into the playful nature of who we are and to just be with ourselves. And on my Instagram page recently, someone asked me, because I shared this dress, and they asked me, hey, where are you going to these costume parties? And I said, nowhere, at home, because we don't have to go somewhere to create a magic. We are the magic. We're bringing it in by participating with our essence so deeply that it's just more and more feeding into our human vessels. So I really wanted to share this with all of you because sometimes we think that life is just something that happens to us when in truth we are creating it. And a lot of people who are sending me their personal questions, and I do invite you to maybe be more specific in terms of what you wish to know more about the nature of ascension and working with the white light, and how to move into unity. And if you have any practical applications or something you wish me to share about, rather than sharing so much of the personal experience with me because I cannot go into the depth, is what I'm doing is when I'm sharing any sorts of update. And as you can see, I'm doing it as freely as possible. So really appreciate those of you who are supporting and donating as well, because this is my work and this is what I do. But mostly what I share, you have to know that it's always going to be for the group. So those, who are guided to participate and watch, they're always going to receive what they need to receive at that very precious moment called the now, because this is how Spirit shares. All guidance is always in the now. It's not predictions, it's not future-based. And the now is always that distilled essence of the eternal presence in illumination. And as you know, my devotion is to the realms of illumination. And today I'm going to go deeper into this topic of the sacredness of the beloved experience, because as many videos that are already shared on this topic, I still see an emphasis that is being missed out on. And as you can see, when I'm talking about the twin soul nature, it's who we are in truth. It's not always going to be seen for what people want it to be seen, because there's a difference between saying you have a twin flame, or you want someone to be your twin flame, or you want someone to be your perfect match, than to be in the sacred union, the so-called Hiras Gamos, the sacred marriage. You can be with, even with your twin flames, if you would call them like that, and you still are not creating sacred marriage, because sacred marriage is the attunement of yourself on all levels, complete unification, and it's a destination, and it's who we are in our core level essence, but it's also a journey in the physical. So in the beginning, I want to mention the importance of the journey in the experience, because recently a sacred sister of mine shared with me that someone has been bantering about her and what she's sharing on her page and her channel, because she was sharing, her wisdom and her experience, and someone commented on that with the remark that you cannot even share about that if you're not living it on all levels. But the thing is, people, you're missing out that this is the journey. It's also an experience. And as most humans are now moving into this new paradigm, into relating experience of the new, becoming more conscious in what it really means to be in divine partnership rather than just having any kind of partnership. We're always in partnerships. But is it divine in nature also in our humanness? People say it's all is divine. Yes. But when I talk about divine partnership, I talk about the complete purification on all levels, complete merge, complete presence in a unified field serving the greater good. That's what it means to have the condensed timeline of serving unity consciousness. Please, if you want to go deeper into that, and the wisdom of the teachings that I share here basically is just creation principles that I know I came here to share with you, and those of you who are expanding on the soul level on this planet at this time, that it's time, because we're not just talking about it. A lot of us will live and experience this as the beloved in form. and I have this course, Multidimensional Ascension, when I explain these things more deeper, and I go into the very nature of what this means and why is this ascension on earth right now so important. Is a lot of people don't share this higher perspective, and I share this in that course, so it's not even a secret, it's just how it is. Um, so the journey of the experience is really important, because when people are moving in that direction, if you're just living it in terms of, okay, when I will get to this goal, then I'll be able to share about it, it's almost like this complete ignorance of the horizontal experience, just being in the vertical. And when you're going to be in that perfect state, fully merged, well, then maybe you can have and share and spread words of wisdom about it. But it's the experience, it's how to that is also important. And we're all traveling towards there. We have, for example, certain knowledge, but knowledge is knowledge. And through going at our journeys at this time is so important here on earth, we're actually learning how we apply this knowledge into our human form at this time, and how we're forming these partnerships, getting more and more insights every single time. And for those of you maybe who watched my previous videos from many years ago when I talked about this subject, it's not that I had a misunderstanding back then, it's just that what I'm sharing now is much more deep and a much more expanded version of what came then. Because I moved, not just ascending, but I also descended my knowingness and my soul embodiment, which then gives me the richness to be able to share about this. So the journey gives you the richness in the human experience to be able to share about those things. And, we can all just be vertical, but we're missing out. And a lot of the New Age is basically the negation of the human experience, of blindfolding ourselves to our feelings, because feelings are our greatest gift. It's how we learn compassion. It's how we learn the wisdom to discern what is, what's not, what's in resonance, what's not, and what works as our challenger and maybe as our companion. So we always kind of, in our spiritual initiations, we fluctuate between the two. There's moments when you get initiated, then there's moments when there's more stillness and integration, and we get like rewards in that sense, so that we know we're kind of following along the footsteps of our personal self-mastery. So whatever I'm talking about here is also, in a way, the eternal truth of the beloved, but also how we're moving in it through our experience. So don't negate the aspect that is the human experience. And also, there's so many people who share about this twin flame journey, apparently, that is just, it's nothing to judge about at all. It's just, it's very flat. It's very much, it has no energy. It's just like, imagine you have an experience and you're only able to access it with your thoughts, but there's no feeling, there's no actual life force behind it. It's just what we think about it. So what we think about the twin flame connection is about, and we need something, someone, a circumstance, an experience, a person, and we think that's it, and we stop there. And we say, this is it for us, and we stop growing, because we're not willing ourselves to expand and to move into the external regions of our creation self, because we're growing our internal wings and spreading them out, becoming these beautiful, majestic beings. And probably that's why I'm wearing this dress today, because it celebrates the majestic nature of who we are. So the beloved is the eternal truth of creation. It's the universal language, but it also is an experience. And when we're here, we're experiencing in a way from the human point of view, from the point of view of merging what was separate, from coming from the angle of separateness and then moving back into unity. And a lot of people think that ascension is all about moving somewhere up there vertically, and you're moving back up somewhere. But where up? You already came from the unified field of everything. So now, from the perspective of separation, you are merging yet again, and you're creating this human ascension, the human descended ascension of that experience. And the beloved is a part of that. It is the essence within the ascended experience. So the journey, the experience, don't forget, don't negate the importance of that, and don't judge others because you think that physically they're not with their twin flame, what you would perceive as that, or they don't have a partner, and so how are they to even mention anything like that? You have to know that in the realm of being a true spiritual sovereign, not everything is as it seems to be. On the same lines, you can have someone in a relationship, but they can be in complete illusionment about what it's really about. It's not about that at all. Where we are comparing who's where, what people are supposed to be sharing or not. It's about the nature of understanding the eternal laws that truly come from the richness of the beloved heart that we all share as one. the uniqueness of our own beloved experience, and then the uniqueness in the physical form, the uniqueness of our journey into the beloved experience. So, no comparison, no judgment, please. That is old, okay? So, if you confront anything like that, just give it a rest. It's not what we're here for. We are becoming these infinitely wise, integrated, sovereign beings. And we came here to love and to show that the true love is the nature of our creation. So I want to talk about the purity of sacred marriage, which is also called the Hero's Gamos, and I call it divine partnership. And I've just shared with you that it doesn't mean necessarily now to people who recognize themselves as, wow, we're twin flames. We must be twin flames because we have all these signs and synchronicities and things happening between us. And sometimes I still will witness online these videos about this topic that are very commercially based. Oh, have you met your twin flame yet? Oh, you gotta manifest them. When you are in the true path of the beloved, you first have to know this will be a path of self-mastery first and foremost. It's not about seeking the perfect partner for you. Because when you came with the service to the wholeness through that illuminated truth, you've chosen a path of complete illumination. For you to do that, you will have to dissolve and disentangle from anything that is not of that form. And that means that sometimes you will choose a rather challenging journey. And a lot of people who are having this experience is very challenging. And then they maybe are looking at these videos that are saying, oh, if you haven't yet manifested it yet, must be something wrong with you, or you're not a goddess or god yet in your own queendom and kingdom. And it's just giving you the impression that it must be something wrong with you if you're not yet with the person. And let me tell you this is such a distorted perception, because most of the beings who project the so-called twin flame experience into a certain person, and they think that just because someone else is not physically and what they perceive it's the highest, a lot of these people are an illusion, because they don't yet fully know the purpose of those beings who are here to work with the core essence of creation. And that is why we don't judge, we don't compare, because we don't know. You cannot know for another, as well as what I've already shared with you, that you cannot make assumptions who is whose divine partner, how you can know this, you cannot. You will get entangled with yourself by pretending you know for others better than they know for themselves. So let that be. We're here to be luminaries. We're here to be wise sages that we're becoming as ascension pioneers. And that means knowing the truth at its very core. And when you know truth at its very core, you will also be able to recognize what is the mistruth, what is misalignment, what is misinterpretation. You won't judge it. You will just witness it and such and let it live. Live and let live. And simply you will be still aware of what is true for you, what you are here to establish as a beautiful sovereign that knows the beloved as a very unique experience. And go a few videos back where I already shared about this. But today I want to focus on why is this purity so important, is because a lot of people who say, I'm with my twin flame, or we live together, or we do this together, a lot of souls, when they came on this planet, they actually still have a lot of fragments of themselves, because the agreement was to collect all those fragments, and a lot of souls did fragment before coming here when they were spinning through the earth's karmic wheel of how they were having these lives and different experiences. So when these beings have let's say a twin, what they call a twin experience, they're meeting a certain aspect of themselves at that particular time of their particular embodiment and what they feel very much aligned with. And there is such an experience of a twin, but it's not yet from a unified field because their soul is still fragmented. So they might have a feeling that that's the twin flame, or but it's not the complete total polar opposite from your core creation self. And that is why there's a lot of misalignment and misagreement in this whole spiritual scene, because we're witnessing that from a very fragmented perspective still, only from these outer realms. But there's very few initiates of spirit that are actually working on this from the very core creation level. And when you master all these basic divine archetypes and you can embody them, you become a universal spirit guide. That means that you have the ability to translate the wisdom of spirit through any sorts of these cosmic archetypes, because you've already integrated them and mastered them within yourself. So, for example, you're not just coming from the Palladian perspective, Syrian perspective, or Taurian perspective, I don't know, Orion's perspective. all these perspectives, they're distilled. The wisdom is distilled. You're coming from the unified field. Go to my course, Multidimensional Ascension, because if you want to go deeper, that's beautifully explained there on all levels, from the cosmic and Earth's perspective, and how they're meeting together now. But the importance here is that only when you really unify that, all those divine archetypes, because when we fragmented, we went through these different stellar journeys, and when you can unify them, you're actually, that's what I call the cosmic beloved. And when I made the cosmic journey beloved paintings, the 27 paintings I made, and I showed it to you once, and they're on my art blog, these paintings represent the cosmic journey. So I always call it the cosmic husband of mine, you know, and I call this the illumined presence of Aurea and Aureon. That is how I feel it, and that is so sacred to me. And it speaks to me in the language that is only known to my soul. So how can therefore be, you know, the discernment of another? It cannot. It's not even within their domain. So the distinct nature of this is to know yourself so well, not just from the filter of one aspect, but to unify and to gather all these pieces that were missing for so long. And that's only then you can have the experience of the cosmic beloved. And the cosmic beloved is in direct relation to the unity, to the core creation self. So a lot of these beings were having the so-called twin experience, and it's not going to be maybe what it is for others who maybe are still not physically with what they want as the cosmic partner, the cosmic husband and wife, the heroes, gammas on all levels of multidimensionality, but also in this human form now. So we cannot compare this journey, people. And it is so hard for me to talk about these things because they're very obvious to me from the multidimensional perspective. But when I witness what's happening on the spiritual communities, and everybody thinks they're right, but there's still so much missing, so much lost in translation, so many missing links that people are just not figuring out because they haven't yet done the journey of the complete this galactic integration, I call it. So I have beautiful courses on my page that can help you to move in that direction if that is what you feel called to. Maybe not at all. Maybe that's not your journey, which is perfect. But if you feel a calling that you wish to merge with all these aspects, and you perceive that the beloved is something beyond that you can just filter through one aspect of your human nature, but it's so grand, it's so huge that you can't put it in just one person or just one personal experience you've had, or one relating experience you've had. Maybe it's something you had at the beginning of your awakening even. And when you have that on a cosmic level and integrated, it will flow through you. It can come through different people. It could come, go, come back. It's going to be always in this spiraling movement. It's very hard to explain it with definitions and words because it's an experience that only you can have as your own sovereign, as your own master. And it is what we are at our core. But we need to get to that multidimensional ascension as well, not just what we perceive as, okay, you meet someone, you're so feeling certain feelings for them, must be the twin flame, and that's it, and you think this is where the journey ends. Our journey as cosmic masters, as ascension pioneers, and it's not going to be for everybody because not everybody is yet to the degree choosing that experience, and it's going to be for those who resonate with this. So look, if this what I'm sharing today resonates with you, then you're definitely on this path, because your heart kind of responds to my words and in response to what I'm sharing, and you don't perceive it so linearly. You feel it, it's so grand. So I always felt my own beloved experience is so vast that I can't filter it to just one person or one relating experience, but it came through many versions, and each and every single time there was an energy essence that was at its core was the same. And it was about that essence that flew through. And that essence, with that merge, came more and more deeply and activated me so I could fully become and embody that. So Heroes Gamos, the sacred marriage begins with us. It's our own sacred reunion. Why is the purity so important? Because a lot of people, first, if you still witness those judgments, or you yourself have those judgments, oh, this person shouldn't be sharing that, oh, that person's not with their twin flame, or this person is that, or this person doesn't even have a partner. Not spiritual maturity in those things. So let that go. The purity is important because the purity means that the cosmic beloved, what I shared with you, is so pure at its very core that there will be no allowance of any misinterpreted energy, of any entanglements. And this is the next chapter, right? Entanglements and untanglements. Entanglements are every time you will witness yourself being almost like in participation with these lower patterns or the matrix system, or things you might not even consider that are real. Like we have certain implants that were placed in the human psyche, And these implants were meant to keep us at a very minimal level of perception. Also with psychic energy, lower astral plane, psychic predictions. A lot of these are external authorities, people telling you who's your twin, what's right for you, what you're going to be doing in your life. You know, all of this came through many, many distortions. Also, we're doing things for the collective, though the wounded healer, yes, but for us. And a lot of these came from these implants that were imprinted. So you have to be very brave and very aware, very vigilant to notice these things. And imagine how it is for most people who don't even have that awareness. How hard would that be to figure out for them? Because if already for you it was so hard to pluck that out from that root, which you knew it wasn't authentic to multidimensional awareness that you can possess because you are that. And with all those implants, these distortions that we played out, we were actually doing the dance of from that entanglements moving into the untanglement. So my sacred sister, she shared about the cosmic entanglement when we're always in that unison. So I basically call this, you know, that infinite, almost like this beloved core creation self. You're always entangled, you're always entwined. I would say entwined. But it's not the same as coming into this fragmented experience and participating in these lower patterns. So I'm going to share with you this sketch down below. I'm going to explain what this means. But this journey of the cosmic beloved is the journey of complete sacredness. That means intimate for us. Complete purity, reverence, complete devotion, complete adoration of that uniqueness, because only uniqueness is the key that opens the gateway to oneness, to unity. Unity is not sameness. There's no diversity, there's no creation and sameness. We each have our own variation of creation. And without us honoring that, and that is why people have these partial twin experiences, because they show them partial mirrors of who they are. But until you will unlock all these gateways, until you will multidimensionally activate yourself, embody it, bring it in your form, you're not going to be holding your vessel for the cosmic beloved. You're going to have those filtered, separate, fragmented soul experiences, and you're going to think that's it, and your journey ended there. And that's fine, you know, that's fine if that's what you're choosing. I'm just saying this ascension is so much more. It is so vast, you can't even imagine. I mean, when I'm shown these things, when I remember them in my own cosmic memory, I'm witnessing this beautiful dance of how everything is intertwined and how magical and grand everything is. You know, the micro within the macro, and it's amazing. But we as humans, we tend to make it so filtered and distorted, and we see or hear something from somewhere, from this source, and we settle for that truth, which is just partial truth, and we stay with that. For some people, eons, not just years, for lifetimes. And it's time to root that out so we can advance as a cosmic race, not just humans, but Homo luminous, like I call it. So the purity is important, because any sorts of entanglement will not be able to hold the vessel for that sacred cosmic beloved. Because the cosmic beloved cannot be withheld. It cannot withstand any sorts of lower energies, any types of possessions, jealousies, comparison, addiction, codependency, projections. It cannot withstand that energy. So a lot of people, these true cosmic beloveds, they won't come together. You know, the heavenly ones, the heavenly partners, the divine angelic couples. I don't know how to call it elsewhere, but they're not even going to come together. You know, if that's the journey you've chosen for yourself and you feel a resonance in your heart, what I'm sharing now, it's not even going to happen until you can hold in the physical, in your vessel, your human vessel, this space for complete purity without these entanglements. And that is why when we have chosen this journey, when we came here in the sacred divine partnerships, and I share how this is created, how we choose that in my multidimensional ascension course, so check that out. I also have a mastery course on the twin soul, which is, you know, the very nature of our creation self. And I talk about this always with you as creation principles, which is so much deeper than just one person, one fragment of the soul, and that's it. We're becoming cosmic. We need to master our monad. What you can only become, you know, really activated through that monad when you can be open to all these experiences, not just one particle. And you filter all of your consciousness just there. Your consciousness is much more beyond all of that. That's all I'm trying to say in this video. It's not a judgment call. It's not a comparison. I'm just saying, for those of you who know there's much more, you will feel a calling in your own heart. And I'm here to guide you into that sacred cosmic beloved. So this means that it cannot be withheld within these lower frequencies. So when we came here, when we had these agreements with the sacred partner, and sometimes people call this, I have it written here, the core separation, that was an agreement. And sometimes we call it, people call it many things, like the first separation from source. But what we feel when we're going through different relationships and we're being activated, and we will feel those things like rejection, anger, sometimes we will feel it as not heard, or we'll feel rebellious to what, like the suppressed feminine, and the rebellious nature will want to come out, or we will feel like nobody hears us, or we're alone, and all these aspects are coming out. These are basically because we had to move through that experience. We had to descend into that from that unified field to know how that experience was. And we had particles. Even if you came from a completely different space here to serve as a part of the volunteer soul group, you still had to go through the experience, and your lifetimes probably were not very easy, because you've chosen to have those experiences so you could once wake up through them and remember the cosmic nature of your origin and the universalness within which you exist, not just the projected linear, limited, filtered. So it's about really remembering. And once you do, you will see that you had to experience that. So when I talk about this cosmic journey of the beloveds, right, it means that when you have partners in your life, usually it's romantic relationships that will trigger most. Sometimes people say it's not just romantic relationships. Yes, it's true. Even I've experienced this feeling of being in love and being so beautifully lifted up with its sacred sisterhood. It's all one. But romantic, intimate partnerships with people who you will, especially not always physically, but most times physically meet, these will be agreements that will work with you so you can move through those levels of that densified energy. That's all these entanglements, projections, and these patterns that we're actually helping to heal and resolve within ourselves. We're not doing it for others because we basically can't. As we do, we will master our core creation pillar. We will unify within. We will be as stable, as solid as a rock, and nothing can move us. This is the state of a true sovereign master. When you master your beloved, it's like nothing can sway you. You can be like this, left, right, but always coming back to the middle point. It's because you've mastered your pillar. And that is when you can feel this unconditional love and acceptance in parallel. Sometimes you can have an argument with someone, and at the same time you will feel how much you love them. And it will be so funny because you will be the one that experiences and the witness at the same time, the conscious observer. And it will be a parallel, and then you feel how they're merging up until the point where we're going to be fully unified. And that's what we're doing here. So when we had these agreements for these patterns to dissolve, usually it came through different partners, mostly romantic, and they actually showed us where these misalignments took place. Sometimes it's even in the genome from our ancestral family, the lineage, and we needed that. So we can't even be physically together with the core creation self, cosmic beloved, if that is not worked on. And I've shared with you that a few years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, my Aureum presence, my beloved presence came and it spoke to me, and it said, after this purpose is complete, only then we can reunify, we can come together. Remember the purpose. You need to remember the purpose. And what I'm talking about today, what I'm sharing, is that purpose. All those of you who know you're at this core creation level and the magnetic experience of the cosmic beloved, because it is so intense, it means that it comes from all these aspects of you, which means you cannot bypass them. You cannot be fooled by negating and suppressing even one aspect of you. And when you witness, when most humans, some of them still have difficulty even embracing their shadows. So imagine not just a particular shadow, but the whole pile of it from all these different star lineages, from these different aspects, these multidimensional aspects of you. And if you even can deal with one aspect, then how will you unify all these aspects together? So it just doesn't make sense, right? So this cosmic beloved journey was designed, was pre-planned by us to finally move through those distortions, disillusionment, disentanglement. So basically, so we come back to the only true entanglement that actually exists, which is that entwined energy. I always see it as two infinity symbols interlocking, yours and your beloved, which is basically one, right? That's how I see it. So this, at its very core, that's the core of who we are, our diamond spark self, is that unity consciousness, our twin soul essence, right? Not twin flame as a person. Please don't confuse that. Twin soul essence, twin soul as you, as a unified illumined being. And then The outer region is what connects. It connects the soul. And then as you move out, right, into the worlds of creation and having those experiences, you will start to have those experiences of densifying and those patterns and all these entanglements. So why we came into this with other partners, because the other partners that were there, like stepping aside and stepping up to us and agreeing with us to hold us on that level. And for many of you who had maybe a negative, only perception by the way, experience with someone, or they hurt you, or they weren't acting the way you did, they were not, equally reciprocity with you, and reciprocation, sorry, tongue tied, all of that, right? And you felt, oh man, that person, that really sucks, and it's painful. In truth, a lot of times when if you witness the conversations we had on a soul level, it's the souls that loved us the most that actually we asked them, we said, please, would you be willing to hurt me, or would you be willing to do or say this to me so I'll advance in my mastery and I'll have that initiation that I need? And they said, oh no, it's so hard, I can do this to you. So if you can witness yourself, even when you're within an argument, whatever it is with someone, and usually you will play it out in reversal mode, you have to be witnessing it from both sides. Two infinities, right? Interlocked. It means you will always, even if you're a man and a woman, you will always have to master both the divine feminine, the receptive part, plus the seed of life, the divine masculine. You will have to witness and master both polarities for you to become a master of polarity. So check out my mastery course on mastering polarity and twin soul consciousness. Only when you have that, you can move on to greater levels of grouped consciousness and enlightened partnerships also in groups. And that's what we're going to do later in communities. But we can't have communities without that. Enlightened communities. You can have a commune or a community, but is it going to be enlightened community? That's a different thing. The essence of consciousness is always that which drives the physical manifestation forward, not the manifestation itself. It's not vice versa. So with these people and these souls that loved you so much, these agreements, when you can imagine and remember them, even though you might have a negative feeling or something about a person, this impression, it's still in a way serving you, because for some of us, we needed to keep away later. We need to integrate that. So we kind of kept away from that person who maybe did something that wasn't in highest integrity or alignment. And that's good. That serves for that reason. But simultaneously, if you can feel love and joy, nothing but appreciation for that exchange that took place, you're living your enlightened state. Know that. And so these beings came up and agreed for that. And we had that exchange because that energy needed to fully empty out, so you could only hold the vessel for that cosmic beloved, which is an agreement you made from the realms of your core self, that destined partnership, which basically, if it's coming from the cosmic unified level, and please, I'm making no comparison here, because partnership on this planet right now, it's coming from many different levels, but I'm sharing for the group of you who know that you're in this path, that you're going to master all these essences, all basic 12 principles of creation, all these stellar energies within you. You're going to merge with your multidimensional ascension and in your human form. Cosmic beloved journey. That's what it is. So you will feel a calling. And for those of you, you will know that the beloved that calls you can only come from that space, from that essence. And that's why maybe when you were going through your journey, you couldn't associate with other things that people are sharing about this, which doesn't mean they're wrong. They're just sharing from their perspective. The only thing that I don't like is that people want to make their perspective the general one, the ultimate one. That doesn't exist. What is the ultimate you as the unified self. That's it. Sorry for laughing, but there is no other you generalized, unified for everyone. It is the uniqueness of your beautiful cosmic spark. So we're living it here on Earth makes it so magical. And we have to remember those things in order to get there. It's not going to come on its own. A lot of people think things will just happen, No, we are the magic, and we instigate that magic for the magic to happen also physically. So from us moving from this space, we're returning. So we came from that space, we spread it out, now we're returning. So you see, ascending, descending, like a pulse of life, like the heart that beats this way in and out. So this core separation and agreement, that was an agreement for us to separate, caused us to feel, when we enter this space of separation, even though we might come from an enlightened, illumined consciousness, it still left us with an impression of separateness. And we've all carried this seed Like the same that we carried the seed of the Christ, we carried that seed of separation. Of course, that was just a tiny little segment, tiny little spectacle here. But it was enough for us to also be moved on our journey through it because we needed to. Otherwise, we wouldn't create the experiences of separation that we needed to integrate them, because you cannot avoid. This journey will not happen through ignorance and avoiding it. You have to do your work. You have to do your mastery. Otherwise, you're not getting a diploma in the end. That's how we get our stellar diplomas. That's how we get our mastery. That's how we initiate ourselves. And Spirit does it. It initiates us. No other human being can ever initiate you or enlighten you or give you the right answer. It happens to your own spirit devotion. And the thing is, like, the reason why I can share certain things that I can share, it's only within the domain of what I'm allowed to share. And that's my own rite of passage. We each have our own rite of passage. Remember, I've shared so much about this in many of my videos, and this also goes for this. So the journey of the beloved, that is a unique experience, it will always be within the domain of the rite of passage that you have chosen. So what I share here is for those of you who are definitely feeling the cosmic beloved journey, the cosmic self, the cosmic reunion. And it's going to be filtered and experienced also here on earth. So it might be something that your human self can never even put a label on. You cannot get a sense of how you would even describe it. It's just how I feel for it is like that awe. It's uncomparable. It's how I feel and witness myself and in my own connection to spirit. And that way I connect to my beloved. It's the same thing. And it cannot be put into words. It's just so sacred. So when there's a lot of people I notice, when they share about sacred marriage and unions, and you have these group tantras, and you come somewhere, you have a group tantra experience and people are participating and watching. If you read the books from Kathleen McGovern, The Chosen One, The Book of Love, and The Poetry Prince, I think there's a fourth one coming out soon, hopefully. These books all share the same message. It's all about the sacred marriage and Heroes Gamos, basically from the perspective of that unity. All these types of love, from agape to brotherhood, sisterhood, motherhood, the love of service, the love of basically all these loves, right? Eros as well. And when all these loves meet, they kind of, this multidimensional aspect of who we are, and through these stellar compositions of our nature, our divine blueprint, it kind of makes that click. And when we master that, we truly can be in that union on all levels. Like I said, you can have two people who say we're twin flames, but that doesn't mean they're going to share sacred marriage, because it needs to come through that mastery of that consciousness that is the consciousness of Heroes Gamos. So these books share that beautiful, that when the couple was ready to have that Heroes Gamos, they actually had to lock themselves or be completely on their own. They call it the sacred marital chambers, or the marital bedroom, whatever. And basically they needed that alone space. So sometimes I witness people who share what they're doing, how they're unifying in their own, and it's very personal. They allow others in their intimate space. It just doesn't resonate with me because it lacks that core purity. And the purity will be the uniqueness. So you and your beloved have a unique language, right? The cosmic language that flows just between you. You are sending yourself always these signals, these messages. You're always connected through that universal language, which is your universal language, your micro within the macro. So the thing is that this is such a beautiful experience, and the moment you prostitute that experience and you make it an external thing, or you boast about it, or you want to drag others into it, it loses its sacredness. And humanity has been doing this, and basically returning the sacredness and the purity into something that it's not, and we're showing it off like it's a pair of jeans you're wearing. And it's one thing to record videos from our personal lives and these things, but to say this is a Heroes Gamos and then make it so, like inviting someone in your sacred bedroom and things like that's not. So I'm not coming from a space of saying, there's judgment behind it. I'm just telling you, those of you who really feel what is sacred marriage, and you're remembering, you're feeling that as something so pure, it's so unique, that is just between you and you. So another you. The thing is that, like I've shared, the two divine lovers, they have their own unique language, and even their sexuality, the sacred sexuality, will be unique for them. So when people teach these group tantra with certain practices, with certain poses, and they say this is how you do it, or this kind of breathing and that kind of thing, and working out publicly with everyone. It's basically, again, it's generalizing that which is sacred and unique to us. So if you imagine two people coming together in complete purity in that sacred marriage, they will be almost like virgins with each other. They will be with impurity with each other. And they're going to start to explore, like, wow, the magical awe, delightful experience. That's what the richness of magic comes from. It's not something you can get from the outside. And it's so beautiful that these two beings, like divine children with each other, they're going to explore and enter this world of, wow, our self-exploration and remembrance. And they're going to have codes of memory coming back. And, it's like encoding each other and their galactic memory. And that's the beauty of it. And you cannot have that without that sacredness. You cannot come together in that way if you are making it something collective or you're prostituting that experience on the outside. So it has to be sacred, has to be approached to purity. Otherwise, it's not sacred marriage. It's not Heros Gamos. It's a distorted version of what we think it is. It's not really that thing. So we gotta come back, like I've shared with you in the previous video, the return to innocence, that state of, that you as your beloved and your beloved, you are teachers to each other. You're the first teacher to each other. You're that first sovereign presence that's sprung out and created these different experiences. So how will you not know how to be sexual with each other? People say, I'm needing those experiences to be good for you, or, why? Why do we think that? Because the beloved is that unique experience, and it's going to be known. You will both activate each other perfectly. And it's not like ever your unique experience can be shared with another and you think it's going to help them. The eternal truth and remembering that is helping us. Only that core memory within each and every one of us. That's where grace comes from. You cannot have grace with prostituting something. So these entanglements, all these projections, and sometimes when people create these entanglements, and I notice there's a lot, is when people quickly jump from one partner to the other. And I know that we're having these different mirror experiences, but I'm talking about sexual partners now, okay? We're all mirrors to each other, but a lot of times when we come together, we do create these entanglements. And when we're not entangled yet, our vessel is purified again, and we jump into another relationship, we're gonna like create this ripple effect of putting seeds of what is not even there. And this is how fragments are created. And we're putting these imprints onto each other, and we're not taking it as sacred. So true divine lovers are wanting to be pure, holding the space for themselves in purity. And they wouldn't even approach each other if they still feel that the other still has something to resolve, or they're still working on something, and they still have entanglements. They're untangling. So they're returning to their purity. So this has nothing to do with how many sexual partners people had, how many experiences they had of this nature, and what were they like. But that once you feel ready, once you're coming back to that core, you will know that you have work of purity to do. And no one will do it for you. And you have to see it as sacred. If you don't, you're just going to create that external search and longing on the outside, not that inner longing, which is the language that you both share as cosmic beloveds. So the thing is that this agreement to feel that separateness made us feel sometimes these lower feelings, right? Rejection, anger, hurt, resentment, guilt, embarrassment, shame. All these feelings, basically, when we have these other relationships, we will always project them to that person. But in truth, that comes from one core memory, which is the memory of that first separation, when you and your divine partner, destined partner, said, okay, let's split ways before we'll come together again. So you come from there, each having its own piece of the journey when you're ready to come together again. That's how it is, the sacred triangle, the Holy Trinity. And those of you who feel that is sacred, you know you're in the right path because it is sacred. And you have to understand the agreements you've made. And you making physical assumptions like, why is this person not yet with me? Or why is this person not having a partner and talking about these things? You don't know what you don't know. And you do know what you do for you. Remember that. So yeah, these fragmented experiences, a lot of people call them the twin flame experience. A lot of them are fragmented, and they don't serve the unity consciousness. They don't serve the unified field, complete untanglement, but only entwined with your cosmic beloved. They're still a part of that partial experience, which is perfect because we're moving through them. Just those of you on this path, remember what it is truly about and live that without feeling scared what others might say, right? So the last stage here is the physical illumined unions. They have to have readiness. Readiness means maturity, sovereignty, integrity. You're a creator of your own experience, no victim, no more projection to your beloved from all those other experiences. So basically, you have that core wound memory. It's just a memory of how you separated. You were one and you chose to have a separate experience, each doing your own thing before you can do that. It's you did it for for the nature of untangled creation, because that's where we're now moving into a new cycle. And that's what these Illumin unions are serving for. And before that, you can come together, you have to go through these things. Otherwise, you cannot meet before that. You might want to. You might feel there's something wrong with you because you're not attracting that person. It's not even a person. I cannot call my beloved a person. It's beloved. It's sacred. So the thing is that there's a higher wisdom here that we need to see. And I've had this dream I told you about that, this outer authority told me, it's for your greater good. It's for your own good that you're in separate mode right now in this way, just right now, because certain things we needed to move into first, because if we had an agreement, we cannot bypass it. So a lot of times what people want, they want to force these unions, or they want to make them something they're not. Just be present. Notice that the energy of the beloved comes when it comes to a certain person, invited in. Feel where it's moving towards. Feel the magic and mystery in it without you trying to make it something. Just feel the sacredness, but then also feel how, whether you are being too much entangled in it, you're having these hooks, and I shared a video about the hooks in Ascension, or how you're disentangling from that and integrating it. So if there's sadness, maybe you felt rejection, feel how that felt, fully feel it. There's one thing to talk about it, to witness it, to have an awareness of it, but then feeling it so it's healing itself, so that it's integrating. You need to be felt. It cannot be achieved through the bypassing of the feeling and the emoting experience, not possible. So that is how we designed it. And it's very important. And the more we know that, the more we come into this free space of becoming married to ourselves, becoming married to what is true and loyal for us, knowing our purity in the body. And if we met someone that yet didn't, we felt kind of their awareness, we felt them on a soul level. We said, wow, it's a soul connection. But somehow we felt physically they're not embodying fully what we are. They're not yet expressing that. We can still have full love with them, but we might not necessarily choose to be physically with them on all levels. That means complete merge, because we still feel maybe, wow, maybe they have work to do, maybe I have work to do. And that's the beauty of it, to be sovereign, aware beings who can have enough wisdom to learn the difference, and that makes us free to really live the truth. And that truth is just naturally moving us along the journey. And it's a beautiful experience. And it's helping along the way a lot of people who are going to witness that, and especially in years to come, when the earth will more magnetically support this space for unions and the true nature of the unified beloved energy returning, not just polarized through the fragmented polarization, but a unified polarity of unified oneness. So that's it for today. I think I've mentioned everything. If I haven't, always next video and the next and the next. So it's just a deepening, right? And again, I would like to thank you, all those of you watching. This is my work. This is what I do. For a lot of time now, I've been sharing most of these videos freely for everyone. I will be probably moved to a new format very soon, working more with devoted groups. I don't know when and how yet, because it comes in divine timing. But until then, I really hope you appreciate what I'm doing. If it resonates with you, if you make an equalized energy exchange, that is the nature of our sovereignty. That is how we help to support one another and what we came here to share. So those of you sharing, donating, thank you so much. It really means a lot. It's very important for our equal establishment of that bond, which is based on equal reciprocation. Yeah, mutual reciprocation. So thank you again. I hope this was helpful. Have a beautiful cosmic journey of the beloved. I'll see you again soon. As always, so much love, wisdom, and power with all the grace in all of the worlds and all of creation. May you be blessed. Bye.